we're seeing with Joe Burrow is a carbon copy of what the Colts did with Andrew Luck.
And the poor guy is running for his life. If you don't protect your quarterback dies. I want the GM fired. But now we got to go to some sadness for some teams, which is the Cincinnati Bengals. They did lose Joe Shiesty for, I believe, it's 2 to 3 months.
It's probably going to be on the 3-month side. He's going to have surgery on his turf toe.
Which seemingly damn near takes him out for the whole year.
Close to it, yep.
So that does suck. But one thing I will say, there's one thing to blame in all this, and it's the goddamn owner. I'm so sorry to say this. Actually, I'm not sorry to say this. You have to be so moronic to not get an offensive line to protect that quarterback. Let me just say this. Andrew Luck, who retired, I believe, in 2019, it was?
2020, 2019.
2019, yeah, around there. He got sacked 86 times in his career, and he got drafted in 2012. Through 86 games. Through 86 games.
Okay, yes.
My bad.
Do you need the stats? I have them pulled up. Yeah, I was ready for.
Yes, I want you to actually start this, and I'll piggyback off of it.
No, that's fine. You're 100% right on everything you said. Right, I was going to say what we're seeing with Joe Burrow is a carbon copy of what the Colts did with Andrew Luck. To your point, just reading the stats off of your point, Andrew Luck started 86 games in his career. He got sacked 174 times, which is absurd, mind you. Right? That's over 2 sacks a game. Joe Burrow has started 15 less games in his career, 71, and he has been sacked, it's crazy to even say out loud, 27 more times. 201 sacks in 71 games. That's almost 3 sacks per game against Joe Burrow. It's just crazy how you don't protect your investments, especially when they're this type of caliber quarterback.
He is a very, very good quarterback. And the poor guy is running for his life. Even going back last week, Myles Garrett sacked him 2.5 times. He sacked him back to back. How do you let that happen? I'm sorry. It's honestly despicable, and it pisses me off. Obviously, I'm lucky. The Eagles have Jalen Hurts, and we have one of the best offensive lines, so he's protected. But if you have Joe Burrow, who is, I believe, one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, you would think you would want to protect your investment. But no, instead, this motherfucker every single year is getting hurt because he's getting sacked every 2 seconds. He has maybe a minute and a half to throw the ball. A second and a half to throw the ball. If that. And it's so aggravating to see that owners are just like, you know what, I'll pay T. Higgins, I'll pay Jamar Chase, I'll pay all these guys, I'll pay Trey Hendrickson. Don't get me wrong, I'm saying all these players that are great players who deserve money. But you got to surround your quarterback with an offensive line. If you don't have... No, you can go. Yes.
No, I was going to say, and if you look at the winners around the league as of recently, there is a blueprint for it, right? Their star quarterbacks are being protected. Look at the Eagles having the best offensive line in the game, maybe top 3, right? You can argue top 3 against some others. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs, what they've done for Patrick Mahomes over the course of his career. Look at just the Rams as of recently, right? What they did for Matthew Stafford being able to go win a Super Bowl. These teams, if you're able to protect your investment, if you're able to protect your quarterback, you can do so many other things because not only does your quarterback get better because he has more time to throw, the receivers get better because they have more time to get open. Your running game gets better because there's holes to go through, right? We saw it with Barkley firsthand last year, where I think Derek could have maybe rushed for over 1,000 yards.
I think so.
So it's just that much more of importance moving forward in the NFL because it's very rare at this point where a team doesn't have a good offensive line and they're able to make it far. Look at another example, right, where you have Super Bowl contenders. Look at the Ravens, how they're able to manipulate the 2-run system with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. It's because they have an offensive line to be able to do it. And on top of that, shameless plug, by the way, quarterbacks are not built like they were used to. right? You look at some of the all-time great quarterbacks, just in our lifetime, Derek, just in our lifetime, who got the absolute shit kicked out of them on a weekly basis and would get back up just because how the NFL was different, right? Quarterbacks were tougher. There weren't all these rules to protect them because they were soft or because they wanted to protect their investment. They got fucking clobbered in the backfield, got back up and continued to drive. Just Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and then my GOAT, Eli Manning, which not a lot of people, NFL fans know this. Eli Manning really didn't have a great offensive line throughout his career. In 236 games, he got sacked 411 times in his career in the regular season. Over 400 times he got sacked, Eric.
That's despicable.
Not to mention two of his top 3 highest seasons of sacks were his Super Bowl years. So quarterbacks back then knew how to take it, and I'm not, and look, and don't misconstrue me, right? I'm not saying this is Joe Burrow's fault. But I'm just saying times have changed. So NFL teams and GMs have to change with them. You have to prioritize your offensive line moving forward.
Yo, if Joe Burrow played in the times of Ben Roethlisberger, exactly all those players you were saying, he would be like Tua. No offense to Tua or anything. It's just the fact of the matter is that Tua is he's concussion-ridden quarterback. He gets a lot of concussions. Some of them he's charging headfirst into a safety. Some of them it's him getting blown up in the backfield. But Joe Burrow, and this is one thing I want to say. Earlier in the year, I did say Zach Taylor is on the hot seat. I'm going to refrain that statement. And the reason why I'm saying this is because at the end of the day, signing all these free agents, yeah, you could, as a coach, you could say, I want this, I want this, I want this. But they're not the one who are paying the money. Who I want on the hot seat this year, and potentially I want fired by the end of the year, I want the GM fired. Because I understand you just paid all these wide receivers, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Hendrickson. 3 great players. But you need a fucking offensive line. As what we said, it's the blueprint. You need an offensive line to protect your quarterback. If you don't protect your quarterback dies.
And I do want to reiterate, it's not like we're saying these quarterbacks are weak by any means, right? It's just a different style of quarterback play over the last 5-10 years. There are still quarterbacks from who have old school mentalities to fucking take hits and to get right back up. One we saw literally last night, Baker Mayfield. That guy is a fucking animal. I wouldn't want to meet him in the hole. He gets right back up and he starts shit-talking you. It's a beautiful thing, right? You look at Josh Allen as well, right? No sliding for that man. He lowers his shoulder and he goes right fucking into you. It's just there's certain quarterbacks in this league that are definitely more injury-prone than others, and we've seen it with Joe Burrow. We've seen it with a couple of others throughout the league, right? Kyler Murray having leg issues. Lamar Jackson earlier in his career, right? Having a knee issue. But he's been fine since because they've protected their investment more, right? So there's just ways to go about it. And I think NFL teams really have to move forward with the mentality of if we're going to be successful in this league, we have to protect our quarterbacks and be able to have, at the very least, a competent offensive line where they're not getting sacked 2-3 times a game every single game.
Well, one thing that I could say, and I believe you would agree with me, is what I've learned in all sports is that these owners, these GMs, they don't give a fuck about the players. They don't give a fuck about the team. They just want money coming in. Because at the end of the day, there's no simple reason to why you don't get an offensive line. I know I keep on saying this, but it's just so aggravating to see how good of a team they have. Chase Brown, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Gesicki, he's good. The backup running back, Pirine, good. All these players that they have, they're good players. But instead, you don't want to protect any of them. And now think about it like this. Jake Browning, who pulled out a great one against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He died. I think he got sacked 3 times that game. Now, obviously what's going to be happening, Jake Browning's going to go into this week being the starting quarterback. Could be fighting it between Brett Rippon, I believe.
Rippon.
Yeah.
Rypien?
I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But you're going to be fighting for that job, but you're going to now pretty much have to force feed your best players. You have to. If you want to stay competent for maybe the playoffs, I would expect Jamar Chase to be expecting 15 plus targets a game. T. Higgins maybe like on the 10 side. And Chase Brown, they're going to be running it a lot. And it's going to be killing obviously there is a lot of like shit in the NFL to help out with this, but it's going to be killing their body. With no offensive line, they're going to be taking hits. They're going to be throwing, as we say, hospital balls. And it's going to be rough for them. And the fact of the matter is that it's the GM and the owner's fault, and there's no one else they can blame.
Yep.
Whew.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. This shit just pissed me off. Dean, I think you could segue.